So what happens when a championship favorite loses their second best player and their superstar just can't seem to buy a basket? Well, most teams would probably just fold. But in a huge matchup with the Boston Celtics, the Denver Nuggets showed us something different. What you might call imperfect dominance. Let's break down how they pulled it off.
You know, this whole game really boils down to one critical question. One that every single championship team has to answer at some point. What do you do when your star is having an off night and your other star isn't even playing? How do you still manage to win? Well, the Nuggets just gave us the blueprint.
All right, so let's set the stage here. The Celtics, they roll into Denver just red hot, riding a 5-game winning streak. They were looking unstoppable. The Nuggets, on the other hand, were kind of licking their wounds after a bumpy 1-2 road trip, and they desperately needed to get back on track. So you've got two teams on completely opposite trajectories, about to smash into each other.
The game tips off, and almost immediately, Denver's entire strategy just gets thrown into chaos. I mean, it's one thing to have a game plan, but it's a whole other thing to watch it get completely shredded in the first quarter. The first half was this back-and-forth battle, a real slugfest. It was super tight, really competitive, and then this happened. Jamal Murray, Denver's explosive guard, their second in command, he just left the game. And just like that, a massive piece of their entire offense was gone.
I mean, think about that for a second. Murray played less than 8 minutes, 7:51 to be exact, before an illness forced him out for the rest of the night. So for more than 3 quarters, the Nuggets had to figure it out without their second leading scorer and one of their most important playmakers.
Okay, so you'd think this is the part where Denver's superstar, Nikola Jokic, just puts the team on his back and goes absolutely nuclear, right? Well, yes and no. And this is where the story gets really, really interesting because Jokic had one of the strangest, dominant games you will ever see.
So on the surface, Jokic's stats look amazing. He finished the game with 30 points, and he pulled down 12 rebounds. It's a classic monster double-double, but if you only look at these numbers, you are missing the real story of this game. Because here's the reality of it. To get those 30 points, Jokic had to take 28 shots. He only made 11 of them. Now, for one of the most efficient players in the entire league, this was just an uncharacteristically rough night from the field.
The source puts it pretty plainly. He struggled. He was just 4 for 13 from three-point range. Okay, so let's recap. Jamal Murray is out for the game, and Nikola Jokic is having a terrible shooting night. So how in the world did they not just win, but win by 19 points?
It all came down to this one crucial stretch, late in the third quarter. This is the exact moment the game flipped from being a nail-biter to a Denver runaway. For most of the quarter, the two teams were just trading blows. But then, even on his off night, Jokic helped spark a huge run. The Nuggets scored 11 straight unanswered points, and they did it with suffocating defense to close out the third. Just like that, they turned a tight game into a 10-point lead. That was the ball game, right there.
And from that point on, man, there was just no looking back. That 11-0 run didn't just give them a lead, it felt like it broke the Celtics' spirit. The Nuggets kept their foot on the gas, and the result was a surprisingly dominant victory. And just look at this final score, 103-84, a 19-point win. To do that against an elite team like Boston, while you're missing a star player and your superstar is struggling to shoot, I mean, that speaks volumes about their defensive grit and their ability to just completely shut down the Celtics offense when it mattered most.
Now, of course, Jokic didn't do it all alone. Guys like Aaron Gordon really stepped up, chipping in with some crucial buckets. And hey, on the other side, Jaylen Brown and Derek White had solid games for Boston, which honestly just makes what Denver did on defense in that second half even more impressive.
So why does one game in the middle of the season matter so much? Well, in the Wild Wild West, every single win is magnified. This victory was about way more than just bouncing back from a tough road trip.
You see, the Western Conference standings are a total knife fight. This win was absolutely essential for the Nuggets to keep pace with top teams like Oklahoma City and Minnesota. A loss here would have been a major setback in that critical race for home court advantage in the playoffs. And that brings us right back to where we started. Championship seasons aren't just built on perfect, pretty nights. They're built on nights exactly like this one. Winning ugly. Winning when you're not at your best. Winning with pure grit and defense. And that leaves us with a final question to think about. Is this exact kind of imperfect, hard-fought victory the true hallmark of a team that's really built to win it all?